Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, I'm going to do a review of the Talisker 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey. But before I get into this, I'm going to tell you about the profile of Talisker Distillery, their core range, and this whiskey. Talisker Distillery is located in Carbow, Scotland, on the Mingonish Peninsula on the Isle of Skye. The name Talisker comes from an Old Norse term meaning sloping rock. Talisker Distillery was founded in 1830 by Hugh and Kenneth Macaskill. Hugh Macaskill chose to name it after his estate, Talisker, 5 miles west, rather than the village in which it was located. Talisker Distillery was acquired by Distillers Company Limited in 1925 and is now part of Diageo. The distillery's water source is Knock Nan Sperrick Burn. 25% of their malt is unpeated, and 75% is peated malted barley from Muir of Ord. They have a stainless steel lauter mash tun. They use wood washbacks with a 60 to 65 hour fermentation. Talisker Distillery has 5 stills, 2 neckball wash stills equipped with return pipe purifiers and a peculiar curved line arm which increases copper contact. And they have 3 spirit stills. Talisker uses worm tub condensers. Talisker Distillery's core range. The Talisker Skye Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's a non-age statement. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker Storm Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Aged in refilled and toasted American oak cask. It's a non-age statement. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker 10-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Aged 10 years in American oak cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker 18-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky. Aged in ex-bourbon cask, ex-sherry cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. The Talisker 25-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky, aged in American oak hogsheads, European oak refill cask. It's non-chill filtered, it's natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker 30-year-old Single Malt Scotch Whisky, aged in ex-bourbon cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker Distillers Edition Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It's a non-age statement. It's aged in New American Oak cask and ex-Oloroso sherry cask. It's non-chill filtered, has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. Talisker Port Ruhee Single Malt Scotch Whisky has a non-age statement. It's finished in ruby port cask. It's non-chill filtered. So it has natural color. It's bottled at 45.8% alcohol by volume. So when I first tried the neck pour, in the mid-palate, this whiskey had a lot of typical new makey characteristics. Now, if you've never tasted new make from a malt versus, a bourbon new make or white dog, you tend to get a lot of melon character, or at least I do, sort of a honeydew melon, cantaloupe character, and you may get a little bit of fake sugar like saccharin on that. So a really, really young whiskey will have those characteristics. So if you're tasting a whiskey blind, that's how you can sort of gauge the age versus a whiskey that has had a lot more engagement with the cask. So I was getting that on the mid palate, and I was like, oh, what's going on here? Because this is a new label, Talisker 10-year-old. They changed their labels. Here's the box. And I had a Talisker 10-year-old from this little gift pack. Bought this a number of years ago. I wish I had bought more of them. This had the Talisker 10. This has the Distillers Edition. The key thing about this one is it has the Talisker 57 North, which has been discontinued. And it has these 200 milliliter bottles in it. A lot of distilleries put these out at Christmas time to be gift ideas. So if you're going to a big chain store that has a lot of whiskeys, look out for these. Now, some Distilleries will also include maybe gift glasses, little glasses or whatever else. So it's not just a bottle of whiskey, it's a little gift pack. And they will just sort of come and go during the holidays. So keep your eye out for those if you're interested in that kind of a thing to buy for yourself or somebody else. The only 57 North I've ever had was from this gift pack, and it was absolutely superb, and unfortunately it has been discontinued. So when I was trying this 10-year-old from this bottle, from Neck Pour, it was very, very different from my memory of this 200 milliliter bottle. Became a little concerned. With the new packaging, are they not using as high a quality cask? Your perception of the maturation of a whiskey is determined by, yes, age and time in the cask, but also the quality of the cask and the climate, because the climate is going to determine how much engagement the spirit has had with the cask. If you have cold years without any warmth, without any of those spring and summertime, then the spirit's not going to move as much in and out of the cask. So I was a little concerned about that, and I was wondering what was going on there. But as I always tell myself and tell my viewers, and remind myself and remind my viewers, don't judge a whiskey by a neck pour. So I'm like, okay, Eric, don't freak out. Give it another day. Next day, I come back, got another wheat dram, and it wasn't quite as new makey as the day before, but it was still there. And I'm like, I hope this improves, because this is not what I remembered. I then, just to make sure my memory is correct, because your memory can be faulty, particularly getting at my age. You can remember, oh yeah, I remember I had that years ago. You remember some whiskey you had. How accurate is your memory when you're going by your memory and comparing one whiskey with another? So, okay, I'm going to go back and I'll try a little wheat dram from the 200 milliliter that I had several years ago and tried it. Yep, sure enough, there was a huge difference between this bottle and this bottle. And this is what the old bottle looked like. If you want to see what the label looked like. So it has changed. It even seemed to be slightly different color, but I may be seeing something that's not there or whatever. So I'm like, okay, yeah, this is what I remembered. This is what I had in my brain. It's exactly how I remembered it. Good, another day. Okay, third day, come back to it, and you know what? I think it was coming around by the third day, and today it is absolutely 100% back. It's just a matter of aeration, particularly if a whiskey is peated. What aeration does is not only get the whiskey to be more expressive, so you're getting more out of it, but it gets all the various elements to be more intermingled. I have watched other channels do neck pour reviews, and they talk about how the whiskey is, so they don't use the term disjointed, but that's essentially what they're describing. And I'm like, don't do a wham bam, thank you ma'am, neck pour. Give it a couple of days, whatever. Come back to it. Try it, set aside, and then come back to it a few days later, because you're going to find the change can be quite dramatic. So, thankfully, it is back. It is the way I remembered it. So when am I getting on the nose? What came across as melon is now coming across as pineapple. Canned pineapple. Yellow apple. There is a waft of smoke going on in there. There is just a hint of black pepper. That is the flag. That is the key characteristic of Talisker. They are known for having that slight black peppery finish. The smoke is just sort of wafting through everything. It has some vanilla, a little bit of pear, perhaps a little bit of peach. But I would say the fruit character is predominantly pineapple that is intermingled with a really, really nice, subtle, graceful smokiness on the palate. On the palate, very differently than from the neck pour, the peaty, smoky goodness has moved to the front of the palate. It's there on entry and not just delayed on the palate. So now the smoky goodness is interwoven with the fruit character, and I get a little bit of chocolate. That pineapple is still, I think, the dominant fruit character. A little bit of apple, a little bit of pear, you know, maybe it's a little bit of peach. And then that classic Talisker pepper, just a little oop of pepper on the finish. So in comparison with other whiskeys, this definitely does not have an Islay character to it. It doesn't seem, obviously, it's absolutely nothing like Orkney, you know, like Highland Park, because this is not a sherry cask, you know, dominant whiskey. It's not like those dark, dried black fruit notes. If I were to maybe compare it with something else, you know, something could be similar to go head to head with this, it would probably be Lechik, which is, relatively speaking, a neighboring whiskey. You know, it's up there in the northwestern Hebrides. So it would be, closest comparison will probably be a Lechik 10-year-old. In fact, I'm going to do, at least off camera maybe, I'm going to do a head-to-head comparison between the Lechik 10 and the Talisker 10. One more sip. It's not thin, it's not super thick, but it has a nice weight to it on the palate, slightly mouth coating, and the finish is medium plus to long, nice long finish. There's just a hint of a little bit of mint that shows up on the very tail. So maybe after you swallow it, maybe, I don't know, 5-10 seconds after you swallow, there's just a hint of mint, which is a very common note with peated whiskeys. So I think this is an absolutely fantastic whiskey. The Talisker 18, which I reviewed, I absolutely love. It has gotten insanely expensive. The Talisker Storm is an okay whiskey. For me, that one's just way too young. If you ever see a Talisker 57 North, buy it. And if you don't want it, let me know where you saw it, and then I'll buy it. Because I would really like to have a full bottle of that. I still have about half a bottle of the 200 ml in there. I think it's a fantastic whiskey. I wish they would somehow bring it back. All right, what am I going to give in terms of score? I'm going to go solid 90 points. Solid 90 points. For me, it has enough complexity. It has enough evolution. It has enough differentiation in flavors. It has enough depth on it. The finish is absolutely superb. I would say the key element that sells Talisker is just an absolutely fantastic finish on it. I love that, just a little bit of that peppery kick. Alrighty, so I want to close this out with we lost Big Al over at Whiskey Straight Al, and sorry, I wasn't planning on doing this, and it was great to have him on as a guest. I was hoping to go visit him. I want to go to Ireland after my 4th trip to Scotland, and I was hoping we'd be able to meet up, but we're not going to be able to do that. So anyhow, love your man, and gonna miss you. He would come in on my live streams, even though he's over in Ireland, 8-9 hours ahead of us, ahead of my time, and would show up. And so anyway, Big Al's gonna be missed. So I'm gonna let him finish this one out.
I hope you enjoyed the review, folks. And until the next time, please look after yourselves, look after each other, and keep on drinking your whiskey the way you like it. Scotch on.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.